I'm going to say something that a lot of people don't like to talk about and they don't want to hear. Marines today in 2026, they're not the same. Okay. That doesn't mean I'm saying that they're weaker. And I'm not saying that they're softer, okay? But that's what this video is going to be about. This is my YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, Apple 5277. Hit the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I post a fresh video. Now, let me say this. This isn't something that I'm just talking about, okay? I lived it. I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1998. I was untested. I didn't know what I wanted to do as a young man, but I knew, okay, that being tested by the Marine Corps and accepting that challenge of recruit training, I knew that was for me. There was no question. I had no direction. I had no discipline. And to be honest with you, that's really what I wanted. When I joined the Marine Corps, I enlisted, okay? It was something I was called to do. The Army recruiter, he flaked. He was fluffy, never around. Marine Corps recruiter, dude was a badass. Shout out to my recruiter, Staff Sergeant Bofill, Paso Robles, California. But I did 23 years in the United States Marine Corps. So this isn't just something that I'm watching on the internet, okay? I lived it, and generations that were there before me, and shout out to the generations that came before me, because I wouldn't be where I am without you. I wouldn't be where I am without Sergeant Major Irene O'Neill, retired. Sergeant Major Anthony A. Spadero, retired. Okay, there's many, many leaders, but I've lived it. And I know that the generations that come before me and the ones that came before you, there are a lot of people out there that say, is today's Marine Corps softer? Is it weaker? I saw a video just the other day from an active duty gunnery sergeant. I think this guy rage baits me all the time. He claims that the new Marine Corps 2026 is more hardcore than the old Corps. Now, what did Chesty Puller say? Old Corps, new Corps, doesn't make a damn bit of difference as long as it's the Marine Corps. So again, that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video, okay? Now, when the gunny made his video, he focused 100% on standards. He said standards are higher, Physical fitness is one of them. Things have changed, and the bar has been raised a lot over the years, definitely for women, but also for men. Boot camp used to be shorter decades ago. Now it's longer. And the bar continues to be raised. But here's my thing. The standard is different from mental toughness. There's a big, big difference. Do you think that today's generation is more mentally and emotionally tough than the generation from the 90s, the 80s, the 50s, the 60s? Or do they need a safe space? Do they need a timeout? Do they need some type of emotional support? Whatever. You can't ignore the toughness of the generations that came even before me. Like I said, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. I was born in 1980. We didn't have the internet. You had like 3 television channels, and when you wanted to go have a good time, you went outside. You rode your bike to your friend's house. You laid the freaking thing down in the front yard and went up and knocked on the door because, you couldn't just call them all the time. You were out in the neighborhood trying to see where everybody was at. People were drinking out of garden hoses, okay? Everything that we do is geared towards, convenience, comfort. Technology is better. There is more comfort, right? That's just how, when times change, that's what happens. I would have never been imagined that we would have a handheld computer that we call cell phones. I could have never even imagined that. Like I said, when I joined the Marine Corps, that was the year that Google was invented, okay? The biggest scandal was Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Now, everything is built for comfort, convenience, technology is better, entertainment is instant. And because of that, a lot of today's youth, they're not even qualified. They're not even qualified for military service. You want to know why? Because they're fat. They're lazy. They don't get outside. They're talking to people in some chat room playing Fortnite with somebody who claims to be a 12-year-old you-know-what, and he's probably really some overweight 55-year-old creep. And anyways, that's a whole different topic for a whole different video. But everything's easier. And don't get me started on social media, because now with social media, we got to hear every crybaby. We got to hear everybody whine. We got to hear every weak-ass opinion. Oh my gosh, this person was so mean to me. And it existed back in the days too, but you didn't have to see it and hear it 24/7. 24/7. And that changes people's perception. It changes the youth's perception about the military and whether they want to join or not, whether it's the right move for them, right? When I joined, I saw Full Metal Jacket. That was my movie that got me to join the Marine Corps. Okay. And I had my recruiter. That was it. You understand that, guys. I didn't have YouTube, Instagram. None of that stuff was even invented yet. So I couldn't see drill instructors talking about this and talking about that, right? You had the little videos that my recruiter showed me, and, and then you went to boot camp, and that was all. So in the end, do I think today's Marines are more hardcore than the generations that came before them? No, I don't. I don't even really like having the discussion, to be honest with you, because like I said at the beginning, old Corps, new Corps doesn't make a damn bit of difference as long as it's the United States Marine Corps. That means a lot. The Marine Corps is still producing very hardcore individuals. The Marine Corps is still producing war fighters. The Marine Corps is still producing killers. And we don't get a choice for when we were born, what era, what time period. You're born, and that's it. And if you decide to join the Marine Corps, I respect, or any branch, I respect each and every one of you. But for the gunny, if you're going to come in here and say, it's because it's one thing to say, are Marines more hardcore? It's another to say, are they better? There's always going to be ways where this generation is better at certain things than this other generation is. But we can't just base that all on the standard. And again, maybe it's just me and the respect and the reverence that I have for the generations that came before me. They were tough as nails. They were hardcore. You know why? Because they're humans. And they decided to, answer the calling of becoming a United States Marine, and they were badasses. And they made me who I am. And then I affected the generation or generations that came after me. That's what Semper Fidelis is, all right? It's not a competition.